Like it hit me there. Well, welcome.
How many times have you not been sick?
Okay, I was going to ask you guys, can you remind me how many times I've been sick since we've been doing this?
Oh, I think you've had to cancel at least 3 times this year.
Yep.
At least.
And it's only May.
You were sick. You were sick last week as well? Sick or drinking?
No.
I'm not sure.
Last week, my ex had COVID, so...
Ugh.
Wait, what was that?
No, last week we didn't do it because you had a game, and then it was the week before that you had like just gotten home, and we had the severe thunderstorms roll through.
Yes, that's what. No, I have been sick at least 6 times in the last year, which means every other month I have some form of ailment going on in my body. So yes, I don't know what's wrong with me. I hate 40s. Turning 40 sucks.
It gets better, like in another decade. Don't worry about it.
Okay, great. Thanks.
It doesn't.
I know it doesn't. I know what you're doing.
I'm recovering from my second booster that I got yesterday, and I feel crummy.
Do you?
Yep.
You got a second booster? How many boosters are you supposed to get?
47.
Or?
No, the second one came out a few weeks ago.
There's 4 vaccines currently. So there's the 2 that you're supposed to get in the beginning, and then there's the 1 booster. There's the second booster now. Also, I can dip now.
Okay. You've now met everybody.
You can if you want to, yeah. You can hang out too.
I don't think you want me to.
Yes, we do.
We can schedule her to be a guest appearance sometime.
Yes. Now that you know me now.
Because she knows you. She's telling me, like, I feel like I know these people now.
He's not lying. I have listened to almost every single episode. And so is my boyfriend, because we talk about this. So
no, you do not. That's
yes, we do.
Oh yeah.
Yes, we do.
I love it.
It's great meeting you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye,
We'll
Beth.
see ya.
Oh, that is awesome. I love her.
She was very excited when I said she came by today after work, and I said, "Hey, we got to wrap up dinner by 8 because I got the podcast." And you have your podcast? Do I get to meet them? And she was all excited. It's pretty funny.
Well, we should tell people who are listening who we're talking about. Steve, will you do that introduction?
That is my adult daughter, Beth, who apparently gets a great deal of entertainment from our podcast while she is commuting on her lengthy commutes to and from work.
Oh, so. I was wondering when she listens, because they're lengthy podcasts.
Yes, her commutes are like an hour and a half each way.
Wow. Oh my gosh. That sucks ass.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad we can entertain her.
We are the entertainers.
Well, like I was saying earlier, I have a cold, and so I am a quickie. We're gonna have a quickie with me tonight.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow.
Oh, at least I can still giggle.
Is that is that a real thing? I imagine that's like a universal thing where it's like one partner's not feeling great and you're like, I got like 5 minutes in me, let's go. You need that dopamine hit or whatever.
Yeah.
Or it's okay, I'm home for lunch. I got 10 minutes before I gotta get back to the office.
I think it's funny how Ethan's definition of a quickie was 5. Steve, your definition of a quickie was 10. I don't know. I think my definition of a quickie is like 20. That's a
Wow.
quickie.
Well, so let's well, I define it so that specific instance was you're sick and not feeling well. Let's clear that
True.
up.
Okay. Sick and not feeling well, I'd still say 10. So then what's your definition of a quickie when you're not sick?
I don't know, probably 20 minutes, I suppose.
20?
That seems fair.
Yeah. But according to TikTok, the average is like 7 to 16 minutes. That's like the average length. So I thought that was interesting. So our definition of quickie is a standard definition of normal.
Well, it's over the normal. We're high achievers here.
We typical.
It's good to know that we turn to TikTok as our source of key metrics and information.
Everything.
Mhm.
If it's on
You
TikTok,
gotta
it's
focus,
for-
Steve.
I know.
So, I am astounded at the amount of terrible technology that people in business use 2 years into the pandemic. It still blows my mind that, in my opinion, everybody should have a fantastic camera. They're all readily available now. You can get webcams that plug in via USB that mirror or mimic DSLRs. You can get a really nice sounding microphone for like $100. It is crazy to me that some people are just using like the junk on their laptop.
I am.
Is your laptop lid closed? Because some people think that that's okay, and then they wonder why it's all muffled, and it's like, oh, sorry, I got my laptop lid closed. I'm like, wow.
I've
Okay.
never experienced that. That's pretty hilarious.
Yeah.
I-
Yeah. Yeah, and then there are people who basically refuse to ever go on camera, which I think is
Which
really weird.
I don't get that at all.
It's because they don't like seeing themselves. That's like the thing is they can see themselves and they don't like it. It's interesting because even prior to the pandemic, the place I was at, we would have these large meetings and we were just starting to get in. I was in the process of converting them over to doing that. And so I did have a webcam. We had more and more people that were working from home prior to the pandemic for these large meetings. And like, I remember one person came up and they're like, can you not point that at me? I'm like, it's a wide angle, man. It's not just on your freaking face. Like it's the whole room. Everybody can see the whole room. I'm sorry. It looks like it's pointing at you, but it's not you. And probably 6 years before that. Yeah. It's something about the camera facing them. They don't like it even when they can't see themselves. But if you make it so people can see themselves, it makes them really uncomfortable.
Huh. I don't know. I just get annoyed when everyone's like, oh, I have a Teams issue. No, you don't. You were just freaking late. Stop bullshitting. You're 10 minutes late because you forgot.
Because it was quickie
Don't
time.
blame it on the Teams. I actually called someone out. I actually said that. I go,
Did
I
you?
call bullshit. And they're like, what? I go, you're just late because you forgot. And they started laughing. They're like, no, my Teams really didn't work. I go, how so? Explain. What happened? And they're like, they couldn't explain.
Of course not.
I'm like, okay, that's what I thought. But it was like a close coworker of mine, so it's not like it's like someone important, like a customer or a consultant. It was a non-important person, my peers.
So that reminded me of a funny story. This was at our company. This is before your time, Steve. Sorry. So you probably will know these two people, Jess. So I'm on the bench, and for those that don't know what that means, if you're not in the consulting world, it means that you're not actively at a client and you're basically hanging out waiting to find a place to go to. And because I was on the bench, they're like, hey, why don't you help us with this potential client? I'm like, great, something to do. Sounds awesome. So we were having a meeting one morning to go over what we were going to meet with the client about and to make sure that we all knew. Do you know who I'm talking about yet?
Yep.
To make sure we all knew what we were going to say and who was going to say what the meeting was going to go. So I'm late. And so I call into the meeting, right? Or they call, I can't remember if they called me or I called into the meeting, but either way, I'm in my car on the phone and I'm ordering food at McDonald's. And then I roll into the office, into the meeting, late with my McDonald's food.
Oh my gosh.
And so then the other person who reports to this one person that wanted the meeting, they thought it was the greatest thing ever because that's kind of how they roll. But it was funny because like I played it off like, oh yeah, I'm just running a little behind traffic, no big deal. And then I roll in with McDonald's. So after the meeting gets over, this person was like, did you do that before or after we called? I'm like, I was in line when I got on the call, man. Like,
yeah. Oh, being late. I'm late, so I can't say anything, but at least I'm truthful.
I told the truth.
You did too. Yes.
What do you have this time? Do you have, because COVID's going around again. Do you have COVID?
Oh, no, I took a test. No, actually, my daughter took a test. Oh, I took a test today too. I forgot. No, I don't have COVID. So last week, my ex had COVID. He handed the girls off to me and said, hey, you should take them because I have COVID. Like, okay, great, thanks. Well, then the girls got sick Sunday. And so they've had a cold Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. Today is what? Thursday. Wednesday, Thursday. They all have been home. So both girls have been home this whole week. Reese went back to school today. But I tested Brooke every day and she never got COVID either. But she's still sick. She has the same thing I had. So they never got COVID. It's just a cold. So
Nice.
I don't know.
It's going around. We've got a friend had COVID and then her husband got COVID. He just tested positive. I had a friend that I went out to lunch with 2 weeks ago that after it's like we go to lunch and then I think it was the next day or later that evening, he's like, hey, I'm positive for COVID. I'm like, oh man, you seemed like you just woken up when we got together. Like, I wish you would have told me you were feeling well. It's not a big deal. We could have rescheduled. But I'm like, I could tell he felt like really bad, and I think he had like the anxiety of like having to be the person that tells somebody else that you have COVID. And I was just like, it doesn't, like, don't worry about it. Like, as long as you're feeling fine and you're getting better, that's all that matters. Like, it's not a big deal. I know, whatever.
Yeah, whatever.
It's not like he had it. He'd done all the things to protect himself. He just didn't know. It's not a big deal.
Yeah. I had to go to Target to get some more medicine for myself and Brooke. And we're wearing masks. And I'm like, if I'm going to go out, I'm not going to expose people. So both her and I were wearing masks today. And it's like, I had to go get stuff for food, or not food, for my nose. But yeah, it is what it is. My best friend got COVID 2 weeks ago too. And she was saying that she got it from her gym because people at her gym got sick and they never took tests. So she's like, I don't go anywhere else, but I've seen people sick. I see them sniffling and sneezing and coughing. I just assumed they took COVID tests and they're negative. But no, people don't take tests, or they do, they don't care. And people are just out and about. It's just part of our daily lives now. So, whatever.
Yeah, we'll see. It's going to be interesting because we're still not out of the pandemic yet.
No, but we're kind of desensitized to it.
Totally.
Yeah, that's really all that it is, right?
Yep. Right now, if someone felt like me, they would still go out. They would still go to work. They would still go to like a concert. They would still go to the bars, even though they feel like me right now. And it's like, we're just desensitized.
I was hoping for a shift. I think some people had that shift. I think there are a lot more people now that like will not go to the office, will not go out, will not send their kids to school when they're sick or the kids are sick. But it's still not everybody. Like we still don't have like, it's not a full culture shift. Because we we just had the culture like everybody goes to work whether or not they're sick.
Yep.
They could be dying on their deathbed, they still go to work. Kids are sick, send their kids to school.
Yeah.
But like our district, we don't have any support in place if the kids are sick for an extended period of time. They invested no money into any kind of online or hybrid learning, which is a real bummer. I'm for them changing the standards in education, but
I'm kind of shocked because, most people that are in like the public service thing of politics and boards, they're usually very forward thinking.
yeah.
Uh-huh.
They are.
He says with the appropriate eye roll.
Yeah. They're very forward thinking. Yeah. Just like lots of people in corporations.
Fair.
It's all about politics. What you can and cannot do. Okay, we need like a funny topic and then I'm gonna bounce.
You mean this wasn't funny enough?
No, I don't want to talk about COVID and being sick anymore.
Okay.
I'm gonna put a star on my hat. Ethan, we better not be video recording and putting this on
Yep.
the interweb.
Yep, we are.
Really? Look at me.
Well, what about you? You're Jess, you're a person. I don't like.
No. And now
So I think it's fantastic because like I can't remember if I told you that I was gonna start putting them out, but so like 34 outside the box I think is the first one that's video, right? So that's up now. 35 also just came out, which is also video. And so like I know every single time we've met and I've recorded, like I know you haven't like done anything, which is I think it's fantastic. I think it's great. Because you're just yourself. It's great.
Mm-hmm. I also love it that she's sick, and even though she's wearing a hat, she's still dressed and looking very good. I have no excuse, and I'm like, yep, I'm a slob. I'm okay with that. Okay. Got my hoodie on.
You are definitely not a slob.
I'm very much a slob. There was an announcement today at work for the nerd shirt Thursday, and I'm like, nerd shirt is like every day for me.
Yeah.
Like, I don't have to do anything different.
Is this the client that you're at when you say work?
No,
this is at the
channel?
mothership.
What channel is that in?
It's for the next go into the office day.
Oh, that's what I'm not participating in that, so that's why I didn't read it.
You just ignored it.
That I love that because that has its roots with a friend of ours that passed away.
Oh.
So, yep. It was like, holy cow, it was so much work to get that group of people to do that.
Yeah.
And then we had a little while at the mothership. We did it for a little while, and it was funny because when we first started doing it, like there are all these like so a lot of people at the mothership were like, what is this about? Nerds. And then because we had people at the place, we had to explain to them like it doesn't have to be like a nerdy thing. Like we define nerd as like whatever you're excited about, whatever you're passionate. And like one guy would wear like Microsoft convention t-shirts, and we're like, yeah, dude, exactly, you get it.
Totally. Yeah, it's a nerd shirt. Yeah, we had for those who are listening, we had a coworker who suddenly passed away. He was supposed to be in the office on Monday and he never showed up. And so mothership received notice that he didn't show up, and he was found in his house. And so he started Nerd Shirt Friday at a customer. And so every Friday, the customer and the team would wear nerd shirts. So in his honor, the mothership started doing Nerd Shirt Fridays. But then, COVID hit. We stopped doing it. Now we're bringing it back, which again, for those who know him and know the history, it's wonderful bringing that back. But there's like, I don't know, 50 plus new employees who don't know that history, so they don't understand the meaning behind it.
Yeah. It was fun times back then, right? Because we got to be at a customer that was kind of stuffy, and that was a thing that like we were able to kind of implement to help bring everybody out of their shell, and just be like, hey, look, like we're people too. We're just not robots. You're being serious all the time. We can have fun.
Oh, and he was the funnest too. Oh my gosh, he was the biggest nerd too. He's nerdy and funny and just the best. Oh.
My favorite story, he came to, a friend of mine, a bunch of friends of mine, we'd go watch the UFC main events, like fights. And he came out a couple times, and one time he came out and we're watching this fight. It was, what's his face? It was Black Mamba.
Oh.
Come on now. Derek Lewis it was Derek Lewis and I can't remember his name, but it was like this for like 5 rounds for 24 minutes. It's like the most boring fight in the world, right? So it's like 30 seconds left in the fight. He's got to go to the bathroom. He's not big into UFC, so he gets up and goes in the bathroom. Like 10 seconds left in the fight, so he's in the bathroom. And a bunch of stuff happens, and the fight's over, and everybody's cheering. And he comes back, and he tells me, he's like, I was in there, and another guy was in there, and we heard all you guys cheering. And the guy's like, oh no, I missed it.
Oh, that's the worst. I hate that.
That's why you hold it. You hold it till it's over, man. I've learned.
Especially with fights. Like,
I remember when McGregor fought Aldo the first time. I was like, I'd like look down to take a bite of something, and then it was over. I'm like, what happened? I'm like, did he trip? I don't know what happened. Yeah. So I learned my lesson.
Yeah.
Never eat food during a main event if you really want to see it.
Okay, what's something funny? We should do a random question again.
While Ethan comes up with the random question, I have a segue on the nerd shirt thing.
Yeah.
So our good friend and potential podcast special guest in a couple of weeks,
Double D,
started a thing this last sprint for us, which was band shirts, concert t-shirts.
Ooh.
Which we have all been doing. And then we put as our screen background the actual band playing. And today he comes on and Kiss is in the background.
Oh, that's awesome.
And he had it like all day, every meeting. There's like a meeting with like 40 people on it. And people are like, love that background. And he's like, yeah. It was pretty awesome.
Oh, I love that. Just ways to make work fun.
It's really interesting how stuffy people are, and then you do something small that is like personal, and it just breaks people down like instantly. It's fantastic. I think I've talked about before, like just like we did the Marvel meeting names. I would name meetings after Marvel movies. Yeah. We had a big string of them leading up to like a release. They were the Marvel movies in release order.
Oh,
that was the name of them, in release order, because it was for like 2 weeks we had these meetings set up.
That's awesome.
But it was nobody, so we started doing that, and then we found out that one of the people that was like really big into Marvel, really big into the comics, like very deep into the comics. And we never would have known that if we hadn't started doing something silly like that.
Yep.
If you had do you have a nerd shirt collection about something specific, Ethan?
No, not really. I've got some comic, Japanese anime, workout, video games.
No Sea of Thieves shirt yet?
No, I'm a big fan of things that are like they're like a little bit low key or something. So the Sea of Thieves, the stuff that I liked, I don't think they sell anymore. So like the small patch or something, I kind of like that. But no, I haven't bought any Sea of Thieves merch yet.
Okay. Jess, if you had a nerd shirt collection of something.
The only collection I have of shirts is our company's shirts. I have a whole section of my closet for our company. Other than that, no, I don't have any nerd shirts. I had to go out and buy nerd shirts.
No collection of shirts of like your favorite brands of cigarettes or anything like that?
I have a collection of Ragnar shirts.
Oh, there we go. That'll work. Yeah.
So Ragnar, I would say.
We were kind of stuffy, Steve, before Nerd Shirt Fridays, I tell you what.
Man, I just came right out of my shell, right?
Okay, so about the company wear, I think episode 36 that's going to come out next week, you're wearing company brands, and I had to freaking blur half the screen. The tracking, I tried to use the tracking software, so I've got video editing software that has a tracker, and so it was working okay, but you would make these movements where your wrist or hand would go in front of it and it would screw the tracker up.
Oh.
And so then the tracker would get skewed and it would move, and I'm like, oh man, I don't. So then I was
All
playing
right,
around with.
I will remember that, because rarely am I wearing company gear on the
Yeah.
podcast.
So then I was.
Usually I'm in my worst looking hoodie, my pajamas, and
I wonder if that's the one that we did during the day. I wonder if that's why.
I was wondering, is that the Wednesday that I thought was Thursday?
No.
No.
Oh, okay.
Not that one.
I have a
That was
question
also
about that.
fun.
So anyway, then I was like, maybe I can blur everything except for his face, which that to me was like, if I could, that's hilarious if I can figure out how to do that. That was too complicated and I didn't want to spend any more time on it. So you're like, it's basically a hard line.
Okay.
So like sometimes your mouth is in it, sometimes your mouth isn't. It's really funny.
Awesome.
I'm like, there's the consequence you pay.
Yep.
That's funny.
Okay, so Jess, yeah, the Wednesday one. So you had said that you broke me. This is just me all the time now. So are you just you all the time now? Like at work and everything? It's just the same person now? Is that what you were referencing, or was it specifically for that night?
It was specifically for that night. Because I still have my personas at work. And my personas with being a mom. Yes. That was just that night. Because I blended being a mom and the podcast. And being a complete shit show that night. I was a complete shit show.
What do you think? How was it?
I felt good about it. I need to watch it or listen to it to see how it came across. But you're seeing me tonight too. Like I'm sick and you can hear it in my nose, and I like usually I wouldn't do. So I was thinking about canceling, but I'm like, no, fuck it.
Yeah.
So.
By the way, last week did we talk last week about did I talk about the fact that my pharmacist screwed up again?
No.
Okay. So, and the reason I'm bringing it up is because something came up today where they called me to follow up on this prescription I'm on to see how it's going, and it's going great, right? But when I started it, they made a mistake. They didn't think I had jumped through all the hoops that I needed to, so it got delayed by like 2 days. And at that time I was in misery. So 2 days was like,
Hell.
Really? I can't believe this. Okay, I understand mistakes happen. Okay, I'll wait 2 more days. Well, then the next time it comes around and everything's on track. They're going to deliver it, and they text me the day before and say, your prescription's been canceled. Call or log into this site. So I log into the site and it says that my doctor canceled it. I'm like, what? So I called the doctor and they're like, no, we didn't cancel it. My guess is they probably made a mistake and they canceled the initial starter pack, but not the refill should still be coming. I'm like, okay. So I called them and they're like, no, we canceled everything. It's not coming. I'm like, this doesn't happen very often. I think maybe this is only the second time in my life where I lost my shit.
Yeah.
Where I think I said, JFC, you've got to be effing kidding me. Where's your supervisor? This is not acceptable. And the reason I bring this up, anyway, it got squared away. They delivered it. I'm cool.
Okay,
but today
good.
they called me to follow up and see how it's going. And I'm like, I wonder if they have notes that says this guy lost his mind. They have to. They've got to. Like,
yeah.
Like, have you ever been in an organization where you've taken notes like on a customer or whatever to like, hey, watch out for this moron because Steve lost his mind. Oh my gosh, tread carefully.
Follow up in 3 days to make sure they're happy.
Yeah. I'm sure there's a note in there about me. I was kind of embarrassed about it. And afterwards, after I yelled at the guy, I'm like, I'm sorry. I know it's not you, but this doesn't work for me.
Yeah.
So.
Everyone has what am I trying to think of? Not the ability, but like oh my God, I can't even think right now. What's the word I'm thinking of?
Platypus.
Limit?
No, everyone has the right to lose their shit every so often. You know what I mean? Like, if shit goes wrong and you're having a bad day or you're in pain or something, you lose your shit. But as long as you're kind of nice about it, like, I'm sorry, I know this is not you, but I'm just not happy right now. Just give me somebody else to talk to.
Yeah. I'm thinking this guy went to happy hour that night and said, oh my God, people, let me tell you about the Karen I had to deal with today. Yes, I'm a Karen. It was bad.
Probably not. I think it's different if you apologize after, right?
Yeah.
I think I even said to the supervisor when I talked to her, I said, first, would you please apologize to your tech because I lost it. And anyway, she got it squared away. All is right with the world.
Yeah.
Good. Well, I'm glad it's working too. That makes me happy.
Yes, but there's still a note about me in their file. I know it.
Totally. I hate it when
if you need to go.
Yep, I was just gonna say, I hate it when I do that with my girls. Like earlier, I gave them it's my turn. I feel like poop, girls, and so you guys have to take care of me. Like, I have been taking care of you all week. It is my turn. And Britt goes, okay, Mom, you can go to bed early. Like, okay, thanks. If that's what your definition of taking care of is.
Yeah. Awesome. We get to stay up and have ice cream.
Yeah, exactly.
You go to bed, Mom. You don't worry. Yeah.
You go to bed. We'll be up until midnight eating ice cream.
You get up the next day, there's like gummy bears in the couch and yeah.
We had our friends' kids with us while one of them was in the hospital, and we kind of spoil them. Like, we just have a good time. And so today, apparently, her daughter asked her for ice cream for like a snack. Because it's not like, and then they were like, well, at this person's house, they said my wife's name, we get to have ice cream for a snack. And I'm like, did she say it was me? Because I'm the one that did that, because my wife wouldn't do that. Like, that was 100% me. And that's not exactly how it went down. Like, it was like an after school snack for when our kids got home, and then it just happened to get late, so we ended up having it like 5:30 and then dinner a little bit later. So it was but yeah, we had lots of ice cream and movie nights with them and stuff, which is not something they do.
Way to spoil them.
Yeah.
I've been meaning to tell you that your daughter looked beautiful for prom.
Oh, thanks. Yeah. And that dress, my wife made that dress.
Oh, no. Seriously?
Yes.
Oh my God.
Yep. there was nothing there, and then the dress was there.
Oh my gosh. Beautiful. Yeah, great work. Okay, I'm out of here. Wish me luck. I'm gonna go try to sleep.
All right, good luck.
Get well.
Yeah.
Thank you. Have a good night. Bye.
Yeah, you too.